I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. And here we have audio of Joe Budden going off on Dark Lamont Hill. That's his new name for crashing out on Myron. And giving a platform and even entertaining the racists that was on that Piers Morgan's panel. Now, if you don't know, I did post a clip, or at least a video, of Marc Lamont Hill crashing out on Myron and that white lady after Piers Morgan was about to ask her to say nigga. And I guess Joe caught wind of it. He did go viral. And so Joe is basically giving his 2 cents and thoughts on the whole situation. Let's listen.
Space with someone who proudly says, I think black people are niggers. I think this 5-year-old autistic kid is a nigger. I respect my right of free speech to be able to call y'all niggers, and I don't care what y'all think about it. There is not, for me, I'm not telling nobody else how to move.
Can I respond to you after you finish?
For me, there isn't a scenario you could create where that person has the opportunity.
I think we got soft, man. I watch Phil Donahue. I watch a lot of people from back in the days put different people to debate.
You're naming a white man.
Huh? Excuse me?
You're naming a white man.
All right.
But you do that a lot where you compare us to what white people do, and I'm not going to do that with you.
I don't give a it's not about that. What I'm saying is that we got soft when it comes to content. You're always just trying to, don't put yourself in that position, when back in the day, society started like that. Niggas, people will put two people on the opposite side.
Now, I kind of agree with Flip here, because this is where this conversation is about to go. Joe's about to basically say Marc Lamont Hill shouldn't have entertained it, and Piers Morgan should have never even set up an interview like that with this shit, giving her a platform and light to say the bullshit that she has to say. Flip's perspective is what content over everything. Fuck it. If this is what's going to get the people going, then hey, as a producer, my job is to get the people going. So let me produce. Let me do what I need to do. Let me put these people together and let's get these people going. So it's a give and take to it. And I feel like outside of Piers Morgan inviting her to say nigga, regardless of it, he did keep it balanced as the moderator of the panel, and also checking her for being racist, because that's how she was coming off, and that's basically what she was saying. So, you know, as long as somebody's there to check it, whether that be Marc Lamont Hill or Piers Morgan in this situation, then I'm all for the entertainment and debate.
To have conversations. Malcolm X, you can talk about Malcolm X, you can talk about whomever. That happens. He didn't do nothing wrong. And it happens, and now it's like, you can't be frowned upon. You did what you're supposed to do. You handled it how you're supposed to handle it. You're going to be in the room with some of these people. Some of these people gain so much popularity, they're going to be in the same room as you.
See, I think we got soft by...
It's either you get up and you walk away.
I think we got soft by letting Nazis and racists have a platform. Let's hear their side.
Yeah.
No.
But that's soft.
Right. No.
That is soft. All right, but the powers that may be are the one in power and the ones with the attention that can get you to spread your rhetoric around or defend the culture.
Mark,
so sometimes you have to take that stance and say, I'm going in here to defend our culture. And it shouldn't be frowned upon on a man that goes in there and defend the culture.
Mark,
and
you can't have a conversation by yourself, though. That's the thing. Some of these folks is not trying to have a conversation. People always want to cower. But Flip.
Come on. I'm going to save my space. Not you. I'm not making fun of y'all. But
I don't think you're wrong. I'm just trying to tell you that the other side of that, somebody like that dude, he ain't trying to have a conversation.
I don't know anything about him. But the first time I heard about him is when Joe did that for the shit.
But everything you see from him does not show he's trying to have a conversation. If two people want to have a conversation and try to, I want to hear your side, that's one thing.
Got it.
If I'm in here, because now in this level of content world is something different. I got to do the extras to go. It might not even be shit I believe. I just got to do the extras so I can be seen. I'm not trying to have a conversation. I'm not trying to hear you out.
Why?
Mark, let me ask you a question.
Because y'all come in here and stand on content over everything. So a lot of times,
I'm the only one that do that. And
that's not true.
This is a foolish angle.
That's not true.
He adopts
some of these niggas believe in content over anything.
Yes.
So as loud and dumb as I could be, it's going to get picked up by the network, so they running with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that.
Mark, let me...
And I guess that's my whole thing too. I would, even with clout, even if I had more clout than Nick Fuentes and Myron, I would still sit and talk with them, because I would love the chance to tell them how dumb they are and how stupid they sound. That would be fun. That would be fucking fun. and it would be great content. So for me, it's like, yeah, I see the benefit of it both. I get to make this nigga look stupid, and then on top of that, I get to call him stupid. Let's do it. Let's do it. So, you know, for me, it's different. For me, I see the chance to violate. So it's give and take with me. That conversation might end in a fight. But hey, we gotta throw down. I ain't mad at it. But if you're a racist, I'm definitely gonna tell you that. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like, you're a fucking asshole. That's just the truth. Like, we're here to tell harsh truths. We must tell them. So yeah, it's just, you know, it depends on where your morals stand. If your morals stand where Joe's stand, where I do not want to platform nobody like that or give them a platform or have a debate with them on camera to give them a chance to spew their rhetoric and bullshit, then hey, so be it. But other people should have at least the right to say, you know what, I want to entertain this because I want to tell him how dumb he is.
Let me ask you a
I don't
question.
believe in that.
Let me ask you a question. When you saw the panel, and I know that a bunch of things, you know, went through your head as to whether or not you should participate, did it cross your mind that if I leave, then this panel, like, there will be no proper representative of somebody who's intellectual, scholarly, and can articulate the points, the being on the right side of history?
Yeah.
Did you think that if you weren't part of this conversation, that it would just be,
It would just be them.
yeah, exactly, and it would be derailed by the racist bitch.
Now you can't argue with fools.
I have thought that before, and that's been the argument that a lot of us use to go to these places that we want to be. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we use it to let ourselves off the hook. Mm. Like, I can always convince myself that there's value in me being there, and for any of us, our presence is added value. But sometimes we don't want to legitimize those spaces with our presence.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors, and everything y'all said is connected. There is the content thing. When I go on Piers, 3 or 4 million people see it. Those 3 or 4 million people then often come to my YouTube channel. They then watch the stuff that I have to say.
And that is how the game is typically played.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He also lets me cut down the clips and put it in reposition so I get paid from doing it. I mean, there is an angle to it, both politically and financially, that I don't want to be dishonest about. But then the other part of it for me is I do see myself as an educator. And I do think that intervening in those spaces and having a conversation that people otherwise won't hear does matter. But there has to be a line. For me, Candace is like that line. Right? Candace is as extreme as I want to have a debate with.
Same.
Yeah.
By the way.
And Myron Gaines, I didn't quite, I know he's a provocateur, but I didn't quite understand just how ridiculous he was until I watched it. The white woman, I didn't know who she was. And Pierce, from what he told me afterward, didn't know that she was a white supremacist. Now,
I'm curious as to how she even got on the show. Like,
because all you got to do in this content world, to Ish's point, is just say, that kid deserved it.
But who do they?
And if you say that loud enough on TikTok, somebody will book you and give you a bigger platform, because some people believe in content or everything. I think she believes it, but I think she's just loud. She's not anybody of substance, right? So she jumps up and does that. And so when Pierce said, do you use the N-word? Everybody thought she was going to say no. Because I've been on TV for 20 years and no one's ever said yes. Even people I know who use it. And she was like, yeah. Wait, you use it at home? Yes, I do. Yeah, so
it took him by surprise. I didn't see the whole thing, but it took him by surprise because he kept being like, so you think you're a disgusting, deplorable individual? And she was like, no.
Okay, right.
Whatever, nigga.
So
that's how she was looking at it.
Right. And that's the moment where I was like, where the fuck am I? That's the moment where I was like, wait, I'm on here with a woman from TikTok who calls niggas at home, and I'm here with Myron Gaines, who now isn't the worst person on this panel. If I'm on a panel with Myron, isn't the worst person?
What did he say? Because I didn't see him talk.
So that's the thing.
Whatever he said, we not even.
Yeah, I'm not even. But listen,
you saying he was bugging?
I won't recount it. But it was an hour conversation, and he said all the shit you would expect him to say, and then at the end, when I did have that blow up, they bleeped it, but he was waving a flag that said nigger.
No. He was shooting a gun.
I'm sorry.
It's a bang
shot
gun.
out a
and
flag.
It pops out with the flag.
And I couldn't even see that part. Okay.
Because it was blurred out. You couldn't see it. But back to my... Listen, the point is...
Okay,
they could pull out rifles with flags that say nigger. They could do the nigger hokey pokey. They could do whatever they want by themselves. It's different with Marc, while Marc is present. The second I'm sitting there and I learn who this person is in real time, because I do get Pierce might have been surprised too, and I get there's some trust between.
And Pierce, you and Pierce have a rapport.
Yeah, but we've been working together for 15 years. We were CNN together.
Yeah, but for me that contradicts the thinking of some of my Muslim brothers, there's a common belief that I won't say. And if that, a little bit of that is there, then I don't trust you enough with this, Pierce. I can't. I don't care how long I've known you. I don't care about our rapport. I don't care if we've gone out for dinner. I cannot, ethically, and who I am and my whole everything I ride for, trust you,
I see
a white man,
I don't understand.
to protect certain things.
He's saying no matter what
I can't.
the rapport
You can't.
is, I can't trust you.
You cannot. You
The
can't.
equity I built in the code, like who I am.
And I feel
can't
that-
trust you to handle this.
For every 2 times I go on, I say no 5.
I was about to ask,
Based
like, what
on
are the
what the
circumstances?
conversation is. And
Yep.
sometimes I'm like, nah, I can't be a part of that.
What's one circumstance that you turned him down on?
I'm
interested to know.
It doesn't matter. We take his word. We know him.
No, I know. Just
I don't want to get into specifics, but I'll say this. I've turned it out based on the guest because I don't want to legitimize the guest or share space with the guest. And I've done it based on the way a topic is being produced, i.e., I'm not going to make it sound like, to Parks' point, that there's another side to this issue.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no yes or no to Nazism. It's just wrong.
Yeah,
So I'm not going to be on the
agree.
other side because I don't want to make it sound like this is a debate anybody should be having. So by the time I got to the end, my thing was, and some people, I got all these, I sent you a couple, I think one of them, I got so many racist emails and tweets and which always happens when I go on TV, right? But this was very particular because people thought the right was, or the conservative racist right was saying like, you know, he chimped out. That's what they always say, right? That's the language they use, right? That I chimped out over the N-word, that I got so upset about the N-word, and people missed the point. I wasn't angry at the prospect of hearing the N-word. I hear the N-word all the time, right? I was frustrated with Pierce for trying to create a space to invite someone or dare someone to use that word because he shouldn't be able to do that. Right, like if I'm the only black, like again, if they were, it would be like me saying, yo, you won't say the B word, you won't say it, call him one, go ahead, right? Like who am I to invite you to do that to prove your sexist?
But I feel like that was clear that's what happened.
But the problem, let me jump in.
Unless
again.
you don't want it to be.
But let me jump in again.
That what Pierce did?
Let me just jump in again right here. The problem with what you're saying is that in 2025, a black person defending his right to not be called nigger by white people on TV is also a thing.
Yeah.
That part is a thing. So, yes, it could have been a thing if I got this white woman to talk how she telling me she talk. I see what the Pierce play looked like it could be. But what it ended up being has no place in 2025 also. And we do not need to watch our good brother, Marc Lamont Hill, who, might I add, is on absolute fire right now.
Word. Yeah.
You are on an absolute tear. And I know this because the fucking black conscious community is calling me. I have been on air for 10 plus years. They've never called me. So it's the thing now. And in that, come on, man, don't get me into all that. We got to protect, don't get me talking like my cousin. But
no, you're absolutely right to talk like that.
You are right.
But
you are right.
It's a reminder not to let my guard down. It's a reminder to always ask where I'm gonna be, before I get there, who all gonna be there. You know what I mean? And it's a reminder to draw boundaries. Not just I drew a boundary in that moment, but I should have drawn it in a way where I didn't have to experience
You're too important.
that.
Or at least find the little end video box on the Zoom.
Right.
No, I'm out of here, y'all.
Yeah.
Just consider
Facts.
consider others. Just consider some others. You are well spoken, well thought out, and professional enough to carry yourself well wherever you go. But when you consider others, in content world, that clip did what it was supposed to do. Everybody posted it. Everybody got theirs. In the real world, when black people see it posted, each time it's posted is a
right.
Yeah.
It's another microaggression. Yeah. It's another
Yeah.
trauma.
No, that was macro.
Yeah.
That was fucking macro. It was a micro. Yeah.
Yeah, word.
And it pushes the boundary even further. Because when we have somebody on TV like Piers Morgan who basically, opens the door and gives this woman permission, dares her to call you that,
right.
and then she is looking like she's like, "Oh, you don't have to dare me. I'm ready." And
right.
you stop it. The next program or media outlet or whatever that wants to do that, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And then it just gets.
That's a great point too.
Yeah.
And listen, we all got kids. We instill this in our children as to what it means to be a friend. And if you calling someone your friend who is encouraging you to get on bullshit or do some bullshit or not live in your, then that ain't a friend.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about all this peer shit. If this is where you'll go in the name of content, while I'm present, I gotta just step back and reassess how I view some of this stuff.
And I had to do that in that moment because I don't think his biggest intent was to expose the race. I think his biggest intent was to get ratings and content.
Trying to get a moment.
I agree.
He wanted a moment.
It was a moment.
And the fact that you would do that at my expense, whether you think black people are intellectually or morally inferior or not, that's not the only way I assess people's racism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you're willing to let this happen to me? That shit gotta mean something.
Past that, sometimes white people don't know when they doing it.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that was happening then too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
he might not have even seen that other POV that's there. He ain't able to.
Especially he's British.
Right. It wasn't until because when I said it, I know Piers, because Piers argues every point to the end, but when I said that to him, he said, I accept that.
Yeah. I was appreciative.
Yeah, I hated everything up to that, but I appreciated that he at least stood down on it. And that he didn't edit it out. Because the only reason in that moment I said, because people said, why are you so generous to him, saying, I know that's not your intent. The only reason I said, I know this isn't your intent, was not because I wanted to make him feel better. It was because I didn't want it to get edited out, and I didn't want to be cut out of it. And if he was held too accountable, he would have just cut the whole segment, which I think would have done more harm to me than anybody else. So, yeah. So I was trying to be strategic even in that moment.
That's a lot of mental gymnastics.
Yes, and I was like, it's all for something I didn't even want to do.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious. I mean, this is just a speculative kind of question because you're familiar with Candace and now you're familiar with Candace.
Yeah.
If you hadn't been on the panel, because you guys consider her the line, and she'd been on the panel, and this white woman had gleefully attempted to call her nigger, what would her response have been? And again, this is speculation.
I can't speak for anybody. I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know. That conversation would have gone differently because Candace is a different person, but I don't know. I don't know
what her stance on being called, a nigger is.
I think most people are kind of against it.
I also listen. Regardless of what you think of Candace, I think she's extremely bright.
I do too. I do too.
I am not going to say that she too is going to be in a space where someone is comfortable openly calling her a nigger. I haven't seen that, so I'm not going to assume that is plausible.
I don't think she would. I think that's her line. But I mean, I think that's her line too. I think she'd be on with Myron. I don't think she'd be on with.
But what if it was the same circumstance in which she did not know who the panel was going to be up until the last minute, kind of in the same situation that you found yourself in?
I can't speak for what she would do. I don't know her well enough to assume what she would do in that instance.
Fuck that white woman. I'm sorry. That was me. That was rude. But she's a racist, so she deserves it. Anyways. I have no problem with Marc Lamont Hill or anybody of that matter wanting to sit in front of and debate somebody like Myron or this lady, because hopefully when people oust themselves like that, like, that's not even in the closet racist. That's a pure racist. We know for a fact. She's a racist. She has told us out her mouth she is a racist. So it's like, at the end of the day, if it quack like a duck, walk like a duck, talk like a duck, it's a fucking duck. and that is what it is there. So let her say nigga in the comfort of her home. And if she chooses to want to say it on the internet and on public and TikTok, look, whatever repercussions come for her, let them come swiftly and fast, and let karma be the bitch that we know it is to her. That's all we can hope for. But like I said, honestly, Marc did nothing wrong there. He stood his ground. He stood tall. He checked it when he needed to check it. And I'm not mad at it. I'd rather Marc Lamont Hill in that type of atmosphere than on a quote-unquote hip-hop podcast discussing pop culture topics. That's just my preference. But either way, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I am Savvy Mike in this. I am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.